man is a man when he sheds boy-like or boyhood tendencies and behaviors.
She gave it to me, I ate it, but I'm the man you put in charge of the garden, so I'll take the L.
Is it possible for a man to see with one?
What are the challenges that you face as men?
Challenges? I just want money, bro. Kwasira.
The main thing that we struggle with is picking the right friends, the right people we find ourselves with, because they entirely influence what we do.
Yeah.
Well, I think Jordan, you've touched on a very good point. I was gonna bring this up, but there's a level, if I do say so myself, there's a level deeper than that.
Okay.
So why aren't men, or those men that are not necessarily standing up or carrying their challenges successfully, why is that happening? If you want to suggest that there's more of such, why is that the case? So you've identified an observation, right? A phenomenon. You've seen something happen. But what's the underlying cause of that? I've got a theory. Personally, this is not like anything rigorously studied. Right?
We can teach us about to get us on the theory.
Just as
Go ahead, bro.
my
Go ahead.
personal life experience as a man, I think what's happening a lot now, and this would touch on the challenges question that Trina asked, is what's happening now with men and masculinity is increasingly becoming depicted as something inherently violent, inherently negative, inherently oppressive.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So if from the earliest time you can understand the world, so I believe first we understand ourselves, or we have a sense. Let me not say understand. The first thing is we have a sense of ourselves. Yeah, as a baby, you know you've got legs, you've got arms, you know that you're hungry. The moment you begin to get an increased sense that there's a world around you, other people, other families, institutions, a society, one of the messages that comes in is that there's something inherently evil about you being male, and there's more of such programming moving forward.
I feel like in life you really truly need to like tone down on the Sigmund Freud, bro.
I don't even think that was like, yo, I'm not even gonna give
points. So it's like this is just a simple sit down.
I don't even want to give Freud the. You can't credit Freud for that.
This
now.
is not Freud, bro.
My brother just laid down his theory. You want to give it to Freud now?
Okay, they're getting extremely philosophical about this. I love it,
but you get where I'm coming from.
I do get where you're coming from. And this is the question. This is I think the next bit we're trying to get into on the aspect of our mental health with regards to stress, with regards to the aspect of toxic masculinity, with the aspect of why masculinity now goes with the phrase toxic in front of it. Yeah. Like, it's like the pronoun or the adjective you use for masculinity.
It's a modifier.
Yes, exactly. It's not just a modifier now, bro. It's literally the adjective for masculinity. It's the identification. You know what I mean? There you go. So phrases like what's that one we're talking about?
Trash.
There you go. Boom. Men are trash and all this. How do you guys respond to this? Because I've had several conversations with y'all individually on men are trash. But actually, I don't think I picked your brain on men are trash. When you hear the phrase, what comes to your mind?
Firstly, most women say that. I think that's something we can establish. That's something that a woman says. It's either based off experiences she's had with a man, or based off what she sees.
Sorry, it's not a man. It's possibly a boy. I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Fine.
Nice save.
No, are we supposed to just affirm that, or?
I agree with her.
Okay, I've got my remarks.
You
go. I'll let you go for now.
Yeah, so I was saying,
Go ahead.
from experiences she's had with previous boys in her past, or what she's seen boys do, to the females around her sister, her friends, her mom, it could be, like she grew up in a broken home, where her dad was, abusive towards her mom, also towards her, and towards every other female that she knows, because I think most females these days, they have a close knit relationship when it comes to trashing men, and they and also Twitter, I'm sure you agree. Twitter is a platform where they bash, the boys who are, men. Right. So they go there and like in some instances, like Twitter. I just go there, and read. I just go there to read what they say about men.
You can't even post, my guy.
I can't even post. I just go there to read.
Where
You will be known as a sympathizer.
people, baby,
Exactly.
let's behave.
Yeah.
You and that,
Exactly. If you try and defend
You are
men,
a
you say-
rape apologist.
you see, and you be like, if you type not all men, you say
Apologist.
No, but
An
check this out.
apologist.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So that's basically where it comes from. It stems from what they've gone through.
the experiences there.
Exactly.
Okay.
But then if you come in and say, like as a man, obviously you'd want to defend yourself and say, look, not all men are like this. But then how can you back yourself up when literally the men around you are doing that?
Right? 3 out of 5.
Yeah, exactly. 3 out of 5, So
Is it 3 or is it 4 out of 5?
it's probably probably
It's
4 out of 5.
probably
Yeah.
4 out of 5.
4 out of 5 men are doing trash things.
It's possible.
1, 2, 3, 4,
I
5.
don't know about that statistic, bro. Because
No,
we're like,
It's
That's what I did. I was like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait,
No, I said-
let me
Oh my God.
I'm one of the
Probably 4 out of 5 guys in her life are doing that.
Okay, now,
Wait, before Mumba gets
come
in
on,
here.
Jay, let me go now.
Nah, bro. Listen, I wanna like have some things said so when you're responding, you have a lot of
Okay,
Uh,
something
a
to
little-
chew on.
a lot of meat, and Fire here has like a lot of meat.
Yeah.
There's the
man.
okay, me, I love you for pie.
yeah.
So, 1993,
Yeah.
or is it 1989? I used to be in WA, drop F the police. Why did they do that song? Why? They're good policemen, right? They're people that police according to the law. But these guys were getting knocked in the head every day for nothing just because they're black and they're over policed in these ghettos. So, okay, we're dropping this song and it changed the world. So when I hear men are trash, I'm just hearing F the police, but from that gender, you know what I mean? And I get it. I'm not trying to be like, not all men, not all police, bruh. Every policeman in my life has hit me in the head for nothing. What are you saying? You know what I mean? So you can't, you can't, how can I say this? Someone's pain.
Disconnect.
You can't disqualify a person's experience.
Yeah.
So me, I've just been listening.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
In that vein, though, how do you as a man respond to that when a woman or women around you tell you men are trash?
I just listen, bro. What can you respond?
Yeah.
No,
What
me, I'm
can you
good.
say?
Okay, you're good. Like, bro, rather make your way out of the trash heap than be on the pedestal, because someone can knock you off. Oh, yeah, I am knocking pedestals.
There you go.
Someone can knock you off the pedestal and you're trash.
Yep.
You know, so make your way out of the trash heap.
Yeah.
I feel like that's my stance. I don't object. I don't respond with not all men.
Yeah.
I just listen, man.
Yeah.
You will learn. Because when you listen to people's experiences, you're like, oh, okay. So this is what women go through.
Dexter?
You know what I mean?
Yeah. So as a previous soldier for not all men. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So it's 2017, right? It's probably like October. I had dropped "Can I Provoke You," which was more or less like a big thing for me as a poet because it really put me in certain spaces, got me invited out to the country, and all of that good stuff. So I go for this show, right, that my friend is hosting, and a lady walks up. She's a renowned feminist, right? So she walks up, and the title of her piece is "Men Are Trash." So before she gets into her piece, she holds an open dialogue forum, right? Like she opens it up and says, "Oh, I just want to ask a couple questions." So of course, to get into statistics and so on and so forth, so she's asking how many people, of course it was a leading question because essentially once she asks her question, she expects that only the women are going to raise their hands. Now, I was staying in Chala and ritual killings and all of these other things. So how many of you are afraid to walk home at night? I put my hand up. So she was like, okay, this is interesting. How many of you are afraid of getting raped at night? I put my hand up. She was still like, what's up with this guy? Right? So now she gets interested in finding out, wait, why are you raising your hand up, right? And then long story short, we got into a little bit of an argument of me saying not all men are trash and this is
Was this
why.
while she was trying to do her piece?
No. This was before she even got to her piece.
While she was still on stage?
this is before she got to do her piece, right?
So she was on stage when you were.
She was on stage, but she was asking questions.
And then you got into an argument with her.
Before she got into a piece.
Bro, where was I?
I have no idea, man.
Bro, that's the question you're asking.
This is 2017. I don't even know why I'm recanting this. But in any case, I did not interrupt her.
Okay.
She had asked me a question and I answered because she was intrigued by me always raising my hand with some of the very direct, almost exclusive questions, right? And then I'm there saying stuff like, I'm afraid at night, like going home because of A, B, C, D. But none of that was listened to. It was more or less like, nah, you just trying to mock me, you know, and it was taken as mockery. And she basically walked off stage very upset, you know, and the day became sour for everyone else who had witnessed the debacle, you know, and so on and so forth. And then what was funny is my friend decides to call me up to perform after that. And I'm like,
I tell you, booed up.
this guy, I wasn't. They actually
That's
clapped.
confess.
No, here's the
You're
thing.
in a safe space, bro.
No, I wasn't booed.
It ain't that
this
safe,
was
man.
within
It ain't that safe.
Yes, this
Here,
is
this ain't
Zambia.
safe.
What do you mean? No, I wasn't booed. Everyone clapped for my performance afterwards. They kind of felt like it was a setup, like we acted it out. Yes, so they thought, oh, that was an act to get into his performance. Because remember, I had just dropped Can I Provoke You? So everyone was really happy with me at this point. 2 days later, she drops a Facebook post. I think she dropped it as a Twitter thread and then compiled it for Facebook. And, well, everything just made it look like I interrupted her and I didn't give her a chance to speak. We had such a great crowd of witnesses, right? Everyone was there to witness what was happening. To make matters even more interesting, there was a video being captured, you know, and so on and so forth. So the biggest thing that too many people commented. I was shocked. I was like, what? This many people actually know me? And this is how many people actually expect me to do something wrong for them to jump on to, you know what I'm saying? So at the time, I was not all men. But after that post, I was like, I may not have done what is being said in the post, but the very fact that we got into an argument of not all men does not disqualify the fact that what she wanted was to be heard. You know, so from that point on, I realized, no, empathy is deeper than just giving people ulterior solutions. Empathy is actually sitting down. Your experiences may not be the same, but just listening. You don't need to say, well, you need to, just listen.
Okay.
So, yeah, that was the point of that whole...
Maambo?
Get me off my leash, please.
Swat.
Get me off my leash, please.
Get on it, man.
Okay, so a lot has been said, right? A lot has been said, and I think I've got quite a bit to comment on. I wouldn't boil that down to empathy. Okay? She posed the question.
Yeah.
You answered the question.
Yeah.
What she demonstrated, if it went according, and I'm taking your word for it, if it went according to how you've just described, she could not stand or withstand a contrary view. So she was, like you said, she asked a leading question where she was expecting a certain outcome. And yet there was an outcome that came through that contradicted what she thought she would get. It's not a matter of empathy. All right? If we're talking about rape, the fact that most rapists, okay, so if you confirm rape cases, for instance, in a community or a society or a nation, are men, does not mean most men are rapists. It's just how the statistics are usually observed or are usually presented, I should say. Okay, so I'm not going to boil it down to empathy. I don't participate in certain behaviors because they're either violent or would violate someone else in another way. Yeah. When I'm posed with the statement all men are trash or just men are trash, my thing is, okay, first of all, the number of things men have done, specifically men, and specifically because we are men, the number of things men have done to get civilization and mankind, humankind, to where it is right now, automatically waters down or eliminates that stance that men are trash. Essentially, if you look at how people have progressed from Genesis of mankind, wherever you put that, okay, whatever you believe, from when we as human beings started to date, the way it has been is like this. This is the summary. Okay, I'm going to summarize it because there's so many details.
Yeah, because we ain't got the time for you.
I'm going to summarize it. But essentially, what has happened is men and women have cooperated to protect themselves and their families from the threats that lie outside the house, or outside the domicile, or outside their area. Those threats might be other humans, other tribes. Those threats might be the environment, which is one major one that we take for granted now that we have all the comforts of the 21st century. But in that equation, you necessarily need the physical strength and the mental assertiveness of men for the species to survive. That is not to say that women are not part and parcel of it. Definitely women are. But if you look at the role men have played, for you to just come and say men are trash without understanding how the story of mankind, the good and the bad, all these years, all these decades, all these centuries, all these millennia, it's a dislocated. It doesn't help anyone for you to say men are trash. A lot of the times, go ahead.
Is it safe to like interrupt you here because it feels like you're on a roll?
Yeah.
So
Okay.
like
Go ahead.
So like
maybe I can incorporate it
because
into
like they got reactions.
the journal.
And I got personal reactions to everything you just dropped right now, and I think there are going to be some reactions to what you just dropped. Coming to the question itself, when you say men are trash, is that a statement in itself that should be upheld, maintained rather? That like should it still keep going on as a statement men are trash, or should it be revised into something else, regardless of what that?
There's three sides to a story. There's your side, the other person's side, and there's the truth. When a woman, let's presume, tells you that men are trash, that's her side of the story. We never get to hear the guy's side of the story, oftentimes. Men are trash is one side of, oftentimes, a very long and convoluted story.
Has this been a burden on men's mental health?
Men now apologizing simply for the character of being male.
And you know what I mean? We have even gotten to that point. Also, don't depend on men.
Okay, yes.
Only.
Don't waste anyone this weekend. A woman is seen being accosted or physically assaulted in public by a man. Do you know who comes to their rescue?